I mean,
while.
I think this is where Trump is really being, he's being snowed in many ways. It's I think there's two things going on. The first thing is that in many ways I go back to Harry Truman, and what happened with Israel and things like that. Whereas I think the outcome there was good, but it was very rocky going into this. I myself, I draw that comparison. I draw all comparisons to immigrant groups. Look, I always say this, it's my favorite thing. The worst immigrants we've ever had in this country were the Irish. They were the most difficult to go through. And it took a while to work it through them. My issue with Indian immigration is this basic, unfortunately, it's been combined with wokeism. And also, I'll credit him, it's not me who said it, but Bill McGurn said, the days of the Milton Friedman, open borders, give us your tie, give us your, the picture behind me of New York, Wall Street in the times when immigrants came over. They came over and there wasn't this social network system, this social government system to support them. Now they show up, they walk in, they got a piece of paper in their hand with all the benefits they're supposed to get. They walk them down, they get everything they're supposed to get. They very quickly know how to manipulate the system and they bring the culture with them. And I think the problem we have is we've started to move away from the melting pot. I'm Syrian, you know what I'm saying? I mean, my father was the first one. My dad always got a kick out of people who would say, he got in a couple of fights with a few people. They'd say, oh, back there, it's so wonderful. My dad would go, really? Why don't you go back there? We never said that about Syria. The Simons in Syria were never like, oh, back in Al Khor, where the family is from, and get shelled every once in a while. Well, that was fantastic. And we had a really funny Vietnamese friend of ours, and he was hilarious about that. And he said the same thing too, because he went back to Vietnam. He went back actually. He's about 15 years younger than I am. So he went back to Vietnam, as like the conquering, we're going back to Vietnam. We're going to be there. And he lasted a year and he came back and I saw him. We were having a drink. He was at my father's house and we're having a drink and he's like, it's a shithole. He said, and they treat you like crap. I go, what do you mean? He goes, well, I'm Vietnamese. They're Vietnamese. They want to know why I want to get paid more than another Vietnamese guy. And so the simple fact of the matter is what we need is more melting pot. And I'm very open about that. And I think then we'll be fine. I mean, beat the hell out of people, not in the sense violently, but if someone's coming up and they've decided that, we're going to do something a certain way. And unfortunately, you got I hate to say it, all the Karens who think that's okay, that's fine. I just saw something on Canal Street. I'll give you an example. They just had a big raid on Canal Street and they wiped out all.
Yes. Oh, the New York Times was very upset, and they said it's okay. There were some protesters who showed up and pursued the ICE agents, but
Yeah, let me explain something to you. We used to I know that area really well from whether even investing down there, doing business down there, Chinese company. Also Apple Daily, we were down there running around we had a newspaper. Who in what planet thinks that a Chinese community is upset that African street sellers got kicked off the street? Think about that one. You would have to live in this fantasy blue-haired land. Of course they want these guys off the streets, but you have to put muscle on the streets to keep them off. If you have clean streets, if you have front streets, the streets can do more. And I'm reading stuff, people go, oh, you could go down there and get a cheap Rolex for a laugh. Yeah, and at 6 o'clock, they're all selling weed. If you ever walked by, there's nothing but it's a giant marijuana farm. They're all selling weed. It's problematic for the old people. Oh, you can push it. It's no big deal. This is the problem. The problem is that everybody's like, oh, it's okay. And I'm going like, actually, it's not really okay. If we have, I myself think we're very lucky to have Indian migrants.